That's just the good job thing.
Yeah, I don't care about that at all.
That's a good one. I need this one, like, at all times.
Shut your stupid mouth.
I just want to say, you did a very good job. So good job. It's that thing where you're actually kind of smart. Things you say make you sound dumb.
Yeah, we both do that.
What's that called?
Nope.
Yeah, but you're a little different, Dad.
Stop saying sure! Oh, it drives me crazy!
Are you seeing clear? Are you seeing clear?
I think most people just ignore the tough questions. This isn't Minecraft. This is real life.
You are hilarious.
That was not the dog, Dad. That was you.
Yeah, to solve this, we have to completely ignore the main problem.
That makes literally no sense to me. I just want to die.
And that, my friend, is one of my favorite things about you.
Hey, welcome to Renaissance Radio, where we have plenty of chargers for phones and things like that. We also sell SIM cards for international numbers.
Fun fact, the Los Angeles Chargers are probably the most hated team in the NFL.
Fun fact, that's not a real team. It's San Diego. Liar. Thought you were a sports fan. Yeah, man. Thanks for coming back. We took a very short break and we're recording our Disrupitated episode. We had a therapy session for the regular Renaissance Radio about the Renaissance Agency. Super exciting. Harley knows how to encourage me and push my buttons, so I'm sure I'll come out with some like dope new clothing line. Clothing line like Monday. And
Yeah,
6
dude.
shirts.
I mean, it'll probably be just as good as like H&M.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I don't know any kids that can sew. So anyway, welcome to Disrupitated. 2 minutes, 12 seconds in, we're gonna get right at it. Well, let's talk about fan-controlled football.
Ooh, hey, fan-controlled football, man.
That makes literally no sense to me.
Thank you, Harland. I agree with you. I have no idea what this is other than it's fan-controlled and there is football.
That's right.
Can you give us a flyover summary and why it's Disrupitated? Look, this isn't a football podcast. Why'd you bring it up, Harley?
It's really because I secretly wanted to talk about sports and who the Niners are going to pick in the NFL draft.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that, but what about fan-controlled football?
So fan-controlled football is essentially the combination of football and video games. And it's not like Madden because it's real. But what's so unique about it is the fans have control over as much of the game as possible. So while you watch the game, which right now you mostly watch on Twitch or inside of their app.
Quick flyover. I'm sorry if I'm being redundant here if you already know what Twitch is, but Twitch is a streaming service very similar to, what would it be similar to? It'd be similar to like if you buy the sports channel for every soccer team or league pass or something, you can watch any game, but it's like YouTube where you can watch all these streamers, but you can also contribute to them, gift to them. They get paid for subscribers. You pay to subscribe to somebody, but you get one free one and they get paid on that as well. So if you have 1 million subscribers and you get $1, or even 10 cents per subscriber each month, you're making a lot of money. It's really interesting to see on Twitch how many people are being followed. Not because they're the best gamer, although those people exist too, but that they're entertaining to watch when they play.
Yeah, it's a very Twitch on its own is growing significantly, as well as esports in general, which sounds bizarre to say, but esports is growing significantly.
Electronic sports, any sort of gameplay. We're realizing that there's not a huge difference between watching a 300-pound, 6'5" dude run on a screen and controlling a fake 300-pound, 6'5" guy on a game. The graphics are amazing. The responsiveness is amazing. And honestly, playing Madden in a lot of ways is more exciting.
Well, yeah, and some of the people that we watch are just better than you, right? Like, part of the thing that blows us away about sports is that there are these insane athletes, and we can never do that.
We can never.
I can never be as good at Call of Duty as some of these dudes.
There's no scenario where, the amount of practice. I might be able to hang in there with Call of Duty, not with Madden, though.
Right.
My brother-in-law was an awesome quarterback, still is, They never...
Uncle Rico?
Kind of. Uncle Josh. You know how it is. It's like the Marines, right? They're always a quarterback.
That's right.
They're not an ex-quarterback. He's a quarterback. But anyway.
At work, they say, hey, QB.
Hey, QB. Hey, QB. None of that's true. Sorry, Josh. I don't know if you listen. Give me a thumbs up if you do.
This is Josh. He's QB1.
Yeah. Well, we played Madden together, and I thought, I'm pretty good. I'm okay. And that dude's like reading defenses and running everything manual.
It's another level.
I didn't even know what he was saying.
It's another level, bro.
And then you got guys who not only have experience understanding those sort of things in these games, but then above that, they have the fine motor skills. Guys are getting sponsored, right? There's international traveling teams.
Oh yeah, it's a huge business, and it's growing more and more and more and more.
So how does that relate? You said video games, there's a huge video game type component because of the control, but streaming is basically a huge deal too. That's kind of like fan controlled football.
Well, yeah, here's what's so cool about it, man, is so we've got this video game component, and then fan controlled football combines that with football. So there's real not NFL teams, sorry. There's real teams that are playing a game. And the fans, there's 4 teams in the league currently. The fans pick one of those teams, and then they call all of the plays. So in the app or on Twitch,
there's 100,000 people watching. You just jump in on whatever team you want to control.
You pick your team at the very beginning. So there's 4 teams. When you sign up, when you create a fan-controlled football account,
You're there.
You go, what team are you want? And you pick one.
Kind of like the Pokemon like classes.
Yeah.
Mystic. or
Right,
whatever.
exactly.
Okay, and you are that. However, are you stuck with the same players?
No, they have a couple players that you franchise tag and keep, but the rest of the players you draft every week. So there's a pool, and you draft your players every week.
That's the part of the game that a lot of people like. Like they wait all. You're one of them.
I'm an addict.
You wait all year for the draft.
Yeah, I play Madden, and I do a fantasy draft, and I draft my team, and then just do it again.
The career mode is so fun when you get to build a player and you get to draft players. And like you've always wanted. I've said this before. I really think you should. Like when your kids, I know you've talked about homeschooling, you're pretty committed to that, but if the right situation came up where you could be the athletic director at a school, especially a school where you, like for me, it'd be North Side, like a school you care about the kids and stuff.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you'd want to be a GM and I think you've proven you have GM type capabilities and skills at our job. But on top of that, your skills and the knowledge of the game. But you're saying that fan controlled football, this is always happening. The parts of the game. So this is what's so crazy to me as a listener. I'm just now hearing this. It sounds like there's maybe 20 or 30 parts of football that people like, and they kind of wait for that part they like. Some people like the big hits. Some people like creative play calling. Some people like the draft. Like, you know what I mean? We all have parts we like.
Right.
But those parts are always shifting and turning, and you're getting more.
Yeah, you're just completely involved, right? So you're about to call a play, and you can pick if it's run, if it's a pass, and then you can pick a handful of options. And then what's interesting is it tracks how well you do. So if you pick a play that ends up performing really well, that goes into your fan IQ, and then your votes count more. So there's it's gamified.
So the armchair quarterback, the Monday quarterback,
bro,
that says that they could do it, have a number attached to that now.
Yeah.
Some dude is at the office and he's bragging about how much better he is at whatever, and he could coach this team or whatever. You can call him out on his FCL score.
Spot on. Right. You can see what rank he is and how, how successful he is at calling plays and making decisions.
Let me just be really clear about this. This is well, where else did you want to go with this? I just had a thought. Let me just give it a bullet point so we can jump back. The bullet point would be resume. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You see where I'm
going?
going?
We'll come back to that.
Okay, but where I just want to make sure we don't lose track of where you were, because this is a really exciting topic.
Yeah. So then, the other thing that's really interesting about this, so, right away, it's just disruptive, right? Like there's nothing else in sports like this. And they're taking the most popular sport in the country, and it's also the only thing that people watch on TV, football.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Describe that to me. What do you mean by that? That surprises me.
TV viewership numbers are declining across the board, traditional TV viewership.
Got it. We want streaming on demand, period.
Except for the NFL. The NBA
Do you
is
think there's
down.
some ritual? Do you think there's some ritual to that? Because I know growing up, there was family members. I don't know how many.
Yeah.
But there were family members that never missed a game. Not in my direct family, but not in my immediate family. But I just knew that was a thing. It was race day. Grandpa was watching the race. You know what I mean?
Right. Well,
is that what that is, or
sports have to be live, right? Like, once you find out what happened in the game, very few people are interested in watching it.
It's
a roller
treacherous
coaster
journey to try to protect yourself from the results. It's impossible now.
Yeah, right. And it's just downright entertaining, man. And everybody knows the NFL, right? Like my wife knows a handful of NFL players. She can name maybe 2 NBA players.
Yeah.
And that's true across the board. And I think the violence is a big deal. Like I think people like the violence in the NFL.
When you watch 30 for 30s, and I would venture to say, I don't know that this is true, but in basketball, even in golf, a lot of the stories are about the bad boys who played rough.
Right.
Went too far.
That's everyone.
Yeah. So I think football has that built in. There's this danger. Now we know it's real bad for you.
Can be. Yeah.
Yeah. Just if you play.
Well, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It's only bad for like some of the players.
Yeah, just the ones that play.
Like, well, you know,
I think it's directly correlated to getting hit in the head.
the people that kick are fine.
Not that one kicker who thought he was tough.
Oh yeah,
Remember that guy? There's this big kicker, guys, and all of a sudden he's like, I'm going to be the coolest kicker in town, because kickers are usually kind of dainty. I apologize. They're probably 6'3", 240. I know this.
Right.
We're blobs of grossness. Don't fight me if you're a kicker. But I'm just saying, comparatively to the
To the-
monster athletes that are out there, kickers are protected. And there's this one kicker who's very large, not a big ripped guy, just a big guy.
Just a big dude.
And he was like going out and just crushing corners and safeties, little guys. He's like chop blocking guys. And then suddenly
They started crushing him.
the
bro.
linebackers go, "Oh, you want to hit people?" And the big boys,
He got hurt.
I think he works at Wendy's now.
He got hurt. Yeah,
Wendy's, longtime
it was
friend of the show.
Yeah, long time friend of the show. Wendy, shout out. Yeah, it was a problem. So there's that, right? And
Violence is where we went off on that. Sorry. But I agree with that. That violence is important.
yeah, and here's the other thing though. Young people, like younger than me, aren't watching sports quite as much, but they're way into Twitch and esports. And so that's the other thing, is the NFL is, nervous that they might have a significant
Shelf life.
drop off in viewership as their viewers age out. And so this kind of thing will protect against that. Now, obviously, this isn't partnered with the NFL, but I think that this will just bring in two kind of segmented fan bases, fans of esports, fans of traditional sports, and just see a significant difference in how sports are consumed.
So, dude, that's incredible. I think there's some fundamental disrupitated shifts there. Well, let's give the parameters one more time. We'll do it every show, maybe slip it in. But basically, disrupitated is the idea that these are Harley standards, that we can participate. The immediate is it's disruptive, and the impact is slightly immediate.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
We're just not super interested in things that, like, right now on this show, we're not like, oh, it'll be cool to see what happens in 20 years.
Boring.
So there's so many factors at play. I took a couple notes here. I've only got 2 right now, but I had other thoughts just flying by on this. What are some disrupitated areas that you're like, oh, this is one of those 3 categories for sure?
Well, right away, it's fan controlled, right? So if you're a fan, you can participate. So you're just involved, and
Straight
then
up participation, period. You can't participate in the NFL.
I can watch it,
Yeah.
and I can like angrily tweet at my coach or
Yeah.
my quarterback.
Can you do the political stuff? Like, can you vote whether they kneel during the anthem?
No, dude. Oh, are you talking about at FCF?
Yeah.
Bro, they had a problem with their refs, and
Yeah.
they just said, "Hey, fans, like, what should we do about the refs? Should we get rid of them? Like, do you want to call the penalties?" Like, they like don't care. They're like, "This is fan controlled football."
Yeah.
So yeah, they probably would be cool with whatever fans want to do in that.
You vote with your team if you're going to take a political stand or not. I don't know how that would fly, but that's what I was thinking. Because that's the ultimate, like when you feel so deeply and emotionally that Colin Kaepernick, for example, is a hero and an example of courage, and people are saying that he's not that. You get angry, but all you can do is yell at your TV.
Yeah.
And if you think that he's being disrespectful and whatever, the other option is you can get angry, but all you can do is yell at your TV.
Right.
And
Or
people
yell on Twitter.
Yeah, and so this is crazy that even, I'm not saying they should do that, but my point is putting an option in people's hands beyond yelling at the TV, and just honestly, there's no other option but to quit watching.
Right.
I mean, that's the only recourse that people have, is like, I don't want to watch anymore. And that's too binary,
Right.
because you can lose them at any time.
Absolutely.
And like the Oscars are going through this, and others are going through
I'm a
this.
longtime Oscar fan.
Yeah.
I'm not interested.
Now you're kind of a grouch about it.
Right.
That was funny. You're an Oscar grouch. Come on. Let's take a minute and pause. Okay, so a couple of thoughts I wanted to bring in on the Disrupitated. I love that. You talked about how it's fan controlled for sure, and that's immediate. What about resume points? I got to think that coming in top 2%, like for example, you'd like to be a GM someday or some capacity in your
Yeah,
time.
I'm gonna run an NFL team one
Okay,
day.
great. And I believe in you. But what I'm saying is
Facts.
coming in with a top 2% rating's got to help you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it would make a difference to somebody.
It seems crazy, but like a long-term high IQ, sports IQ that literally, like, I think they could have picked Jeopardy could have picked Jennings out of some of these quiz shows.
Oh, for sure.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like
Right.
if you're documented, this is where big data is so cool, right? It really gets a bad rap, but like, and it probably should. But imagine, Ken Jennings is top 1% or top 0.001% on these quiz shows. They can just snag the top 3 guys out of there and then vet them.
Yeah.
Fan Control Football could do that for athletic directors and high school coaches and things. I think
There's something to it.
there's something to it. And maybe I wonder if they have a resume straight line that they could do. Whereas there's a limited, that would be sick. There's a limited amount of, you could have your overall FCL rating, FCF, Fan Control Football. You could have your overall FCF rating. That's fun. That's the game. That's the Twitch, whatever.
Real quick, I want to mention my team won the championship this
Let's
year.
go, big dog. Every team I've coached has got second place. Doesn't matter how many teams.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Somebody's got to be second.
Somebody's got to be second. So I'm a big Peyton Manning fan. So that's where I kind of take my coaching career stats. One of the greatest of all time. Isn't in it for the rings. You know what I mean?
Right.
So anyway, so I think that resume thing is cool because they could do different tiers of it. What if NFL teams or athletic directors, what if there's a standard like ACT or SAT type vibe where they agreed that only these types of rating situations went to a separate rating? So that like these things correlate to typical game. It's not gambling. It's just typical game IQ.
Yeah.
These 4 of 30. And so you're rating for that, and they could use that as a resume piece. That's pretty sick. The other piece that I thought was pretty crazy was shifting attention to participation during the commercial breaks. So right now, the only way to do it is you have to hope people stick around enough to watch so that they passively consume these ads. Tons of money and time has gone into it. And that's the goal. That's what you want, is you want to create enough interest that there's like a lag that they stick around.
Right.
Right now, that's gone. They could run no ads. They could just monetize participation. Right?
Yeah. I think that's the one thing the FCF has to figure out is it did slow the game down. And so calling plays during a commercial or anything like that makes a lot of sense. But typically in an NFL game, you see a handful of plays in a row, right?
Yeah.
And there's like a 24-second play clock, and it's not going to take longer than that. With FCF, there's a lot going on, right? Like we got to call the play, you got to go through these options.
Yeah. It's like day trading.
They got to figure out how to speed that up because ultimately you are watching a product on the field, and so you want to see that go well.
Dude, but what I'm saying is like switching from attention. I agree with that, but switching from attention to participation. What if instead of commercials, there were games?
Right.
And the games included rating brands and surveys. You've got this huge audience. Forget ads. Forget it. Run no ads. Just participate. Keep them there. Create streaks.
Yeah, that attention will be a big deal.
If they miss a single thing, they're out for the night on this one thing.
Yeah.
And they have to stay there and stare at their screen and participate in whatever.
Right.
Crazy.
And they even, they kind of put their money where their mouth is because they're also letting fans buy into ownership of the team.
Done.
Like, you can buy shares, and it means real deal ownership.
Yeah, I love that.
I almost did it. I thought about it.
By the way, side note, real quick, and I'm sure do you have other notes on FCL?
I have FCF. Yeah,
Sorry.
I have really just one main one.
Okay. Quick intermission, not a commercial break. How's Top Shots going? Anything right now? Is it a bit of a dry spell, up high? What's going on?
Top Shot's really interesting right now. They just got a ton of cash in. I think it was like $350 million. So
yeah, I didn't want to talk about it, but I did put 350 in.
Oh, really? Wow,
Yeah.
$350 million. Big round of investment. And they are doing a release, or just finished up a release, where basically everyone can get a pack, which is
Feels
new.
like they're losing a little bit of momentum.
I think, well,
What's going on there? Like maybe it's just
so
me.
I don't know that they're losing momentum because they really haven't done any marketing still. So
Okay.
Everyone's
still early.
everyone's still pretty early at this
I'm
point.
gonna buy. I'm gonna do it on your
The
recommendation.
question, I bought 2 Top Shots. I haven't gotten a pack yet, but I bought 2
Kind
Shop
of
Shots.
early retail, basically. You got
Pretty
it,
early, yeah.
assuming it's gonna go up.
And they're down right now, kind of a lot. So the question is, long term, am I going to see those increase? I bought like middling players. So are the just stars going to be the only ones that really matter long
Are the
term?
legendary cards.
What's going to happen with that? And so it'll be really interesting to see what happens. And there's still a really reasonable argument to say nobody knows about this. It's still really early. But also, like, they're releasing more and more cards, so they're going to flood the market more, and it'll be interesting to see what happens.
It's hard for me now that the scarcity vibe has fallen off, and scarcity can fall off not just because you flood the market, but because there's just not available. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, you go to a club or a restaurant and you can't get in. There's an excitement when you're in line and you think you might get in, but like something happens when you just know you can't get in.
Right.
You go away, and so
And
like,
never come back.
and you never come back, or maybe you do, like, but you don't come back every night. You
Yep.
know, like, so you lose some momentum. So that's probably what I'm feeling there. But I'm excited to get involved in it because I think what they're doing is learning. I think they probably slowed down because they learned something and did some numbers on something.
Yeah.
It sounds like to me, this is a guess from the agency here, the Broom, that probably this last release was a bet and they learned and were able to raise funding on winning that bet.
Yeah, you might be right.
And now
They still consider themselves in beta.
yeah. And so they did a proof of concept that they could flare up.
Right.
And Mr. Beast did that with a restaurant. Can I close down a whole city road system by opening a restaurant that I might give you money? You know, so like, but he's not opening. But now he has real restaurants.
He does have real restaurants now,
So
yeah.
he proved the concept, got the funding, did the whole deal. So I think, which now he's shooting videos like just talking head videos from his room.
But it doesn't matter. He can do whatever he wants.
Are you sure? Is he done?
I don't know. I just watched
He
him
might
get.
be-
I just watched him get buried alive the other day.
Okay, he's still going.
So
Okay, it seemed like momentum was dropping there too.
that was
a
kind of
little bit.
cool.
Yeah. So FCF, that's cool. Thanks for the update because I was really excited about that, and I want to own at least one pack. I think I'm getting to a stage right now where I'm realizing that people are addicted in the same way they're addicted to the news stories right now. Like everything's a crisis. When one crisis kind of dies off, we add another one. Not that they're not real,
They're fun though.
but people have to have one. Is
Yeah.
my point. And I'm not saying that they're not legitimate, but I'm just saying like, when's the last time you didn't have a crisis? Just ask yourself. Like, and if it's been a while, you might want to take a day off. You know, like just chill. We have times like that. We got into a rut at one point, some negativity, and it was like we just both had a conversation one day and go, can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Got to be done. No matter how important it actually is, got to be done. So FCF, getting back from that commercial break, Top Shots, longtime listener, friend of the show. What was your one main point? You had one main point. Sounds like a real conversation starter
Well,
because there's a lot of eye contact.
Yeah, really. The question is, a lot of these, a lot of companies have tried to disrupt the NFL, and they've all failed.
Right. And the NFL is literally just like the one who made it. Like, it's so weird.
Well, yeah,
Because
and
I've never not known a world without the NFL being a powerhouse. But it's just a game that some guys made up.
yeah, right. And you know, like the XFL did pretty well for a while.
For a couple weeks, yeah.
Well, back in the day. And then the AFL was a real deal for a little while. I mean, like real players were going to the AFL. And now we've got fan controlled football. Recently, we had 2 leagues start and not even finish their seasons. So like these leagues that come out and just try to compete against the NFL get squashed.
Dude, that lean startup thing is so real. I see it like in my own failures and successes. You can tell the difference between a company who's testing theories like
Yeah.
Top Shots and a company who bet everything on the version they release.
Oof.
Because these companies, like, by the way, if you haven't read Lean Startup, I'm saying this humbly as someone who didn't, you don't know what you're doing. Like, it's that foundational of like, you think you're so proud of your idea that you think if you release the perfect version, it's going to work. And that book's all about testing and iterating and finding your assumptions and testing them very quickly, very inexpensively, and failing fast. I think the difference between a place like Top Shots and what appears to be fan-controlled football is they're leaning into the fact they go, we don't know what this is yet.
Yeah.
Let's relax about it. But then you see the ones that failed and they stink and release their perfect idea and it doesn't work on Sunday. So Tuesday they close down.
Right.
You're like, holy cow.
Yeah.
You went through $100 million for that?
I think what FCF has going for it is they aren't competing directly with the NFL, at least at this point. So for one, like they aren't going up against the NFL in a similar time slot. They're going up. Their games are on Saturdays. They're not even on a normal platform. They're on Twitch. So like the NFL's not on Twitch. There's nothing.
Bro, can
like
you
it.
imagine a single longtime Cowboys fan watching fan-controlled football?
No.
I mean, let's hold
So-
on. Starter jacket,
Right.
you know what I mean? Mullet, very highly educated and awesome. But I'm just saying, like, long-term NFL fans are not taking this seriously.
Yeah, right. And I think they draw completely different audiences. So, you know, I think they would say that their first year was like probably a moderate success. I don't think it, blew anybody out of the water.
Well, most
They
of these
had
leagues
some
are
big
lasting
name
3
players.
days.
Yeah, right.
So it's a huge success. You said they have big name players.
Yeah, they managed to get Johnny Manziel and Josh Gordon on their teams. So that's, I mean, as far as names go, that's pretty good.
I absolutely love, especially Manziel. Like he just had a like spiritual, emotional, physical crash, right? Is he the one I'm thinking of that just everybody's like he ruined his life and he had every opportunity?
Yeah, it hasn't changed a bit.
But my point is like that's a bummer. I think my point might be but my point was like at the highest levels, like Formula One, which you've been watching, like
Oh, I love some Formula One.
I almost
bro.
cried today. It was that crash.
You got to watch a race this year. A couple
I'm excited.
races.
I'd like to go to one.
The
with
most
you.
recent race was awesome.
Well, my point of that is like I don't remember my point. Oh, at the highest
You were talking about
level-
how you and Johnny Manziel are like buds.
Yeah. At the highest level, there's no room for anything but kind of perfect.
Mm.
And there's no like second level that people can drop off to get healthy again. And so it's kind of cool to see a space where I think there's a lot. I really like the 3-on-3 basketball. That's not a disrupitated topic, but I'm just saying like you
Oh,
see
yeah, it's cool.
crazy high level talented guys that blew their knee out.
Right.
You know, and they can't play full court. They can't play at that level, but they've got some crazy passing skills and a killer jumper. It's just, I like that. I like that space, but I don't see a single NFL fan jumping over to fan control football. I think it's a completely new audience, which I like.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So do you think that, you know, that has the potential to, you know, like either creep into the NFL space or at least drive the NFL to action and do something?
No, I think they'll kill or be killed. I just don't see the NFL as it's an old empire.
They're
you know?
one of the most innovative leagues on the planet, though, dude. I mean, they are
How?
constantly changing.
How? I don't see it. I mean, that's not that it's not there. It looks like the same as when I was a kid.
It's totally
They went to
different.
17 games. I know that.
That's a pretty big change. How many other leagues do you see changing how many games they play?
Yeah, that's so dumb. I'm
They
not a big fan, but I just know that
changed. They completely
ruining all the
changed.
stats is bad.
They completely changed the 2-point conversions, if you remember that, and kicks.
Isn't this all just concussion protocol stuff?
No, they did. They changed. They moved back the kick for the point after touchdown, the PAT, because PATs were too easy. And since they moved them
They
back,
want people going for two.
they wanted to encourage you to go for 2, and it worked. People go for 2 more often. People miss more PATs, and they do that kind of stuff all the time.
Well, I guess maybe take back the eat or be eaten. That was my assumption that their attitude would be. I don't think they'd be collaborative with a league like that.
Yeah, I think there's a world where they might either like knock them off down the road. It's certainly not going to happen for a while. They're
I
going
think
to.
the plausible deniability, I think they're probably presenting themselves as pure. That's how I feel. Like the NFL is pure football. Whatever they say is what football is.
That's true. Yeah, and I don't
Everything
know.
else is a knockoff. You see indoor 7-player, 9-player football.
It
and
is.
you go-
It's 7-on-7. Is
But yeah, I mean, whenever you see anything, you go, well,
Yeah, right.
it's not NFL.
right. Yeah, I think for FCF to really succeed, it's all going to come down to the talent they get on the field, and so
I want to see
That's what matters.
non-football athletes integrated. It'd be sick to see Usain Bolt come in as a wide receiver for a game
that'd be interesting.
and see what we can do with him. I mean, we play this game all the time. We say, like, imagine like if LeBron some reason was willing to put his entire $1 trillion in legacy on the line and do a day as a tight end on the
No, you almost did it.
it would be the highest watched thing.
Yeah,
on
it'd be
that
huge,
Tuesday.
and he would crush it. He almost played for the Cowboys.
Did you see? We watched the fight together. We watched Francis Ngannou. I'm so sorry, Stipe. Like it was so bad.
I couldn't believe how that fight went.
It was heartbreaking, but
couldn't believe
also pure and wonderful.
Yeah,
But my point is, did you see? Yeah, you sent me the picture
of Joel Embiid.
standing next to the baddest dude on the planet. Francis is 265. He's like this absolute natural born killer. Amazing guy. He worked in the mines. He like traveled across Africa through France and lived illegally and was homeless.
Yeah.
To sneak his way to become an MMA fighter, and now he's a world champion. It's an awesome story. One of the scariest dudes on the planet. He seems to be very, very nice. I don't mean it in his demeanor, but you see him inflict violence on the other
Nothing
most
like it.
dangerous men in the world. And then he stands next to a big, but like average big man.
I mean, Embiid's big. He's 7'1".
Yeah, but my point is like that's what those guys are big.
Yeah,
And that's happened before.
Right.
He's not the only he's not
Yeah.
he's not a legendary big man, right?
Yeah.
Like and Francis, the baddest fighter on the planet, looks like a tiny person.
yeah, dude. I want to see.
These NFL or these NBA athletes are like nothing that's ever existed.
I want an NBA player to get in the cage so bad.
I'm afraid that it's not going to be the best the NBA has to offer when it happens.
Well, right.
it's
But
going to
like
be Caruso or something.
I would love if LeBron James just instead of going into basketball went into UFC. Right?
Can you imagine?
Wouldn't have made any sense for any reason, but it would have been incredible to watch.
Well, he would have been no one would fight him. He would have been the instant world champion because of his athleticism, his size. He's 6'9". There's never been a fighter that's that big, and
he's
faster than you,
faster
smarter
than everybody.
you. He's longer than you, and that's the thing. That's what I'm saying about brand recognition. Is there anything Under Armour can do to beat Nike?
It'd be tough.
At scale.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
in basketball.
Not really.
Because Nike's the standard. Kleenex, Q-tip,
Right.
all brand names, those sort of things. Sticky notes, whatever. But I think the NFL is the brand. And I think what's cool is I think it's an endorsement for them not to kill him.
I can see that.
I think they could keep him as a plausible deniability and say, hey, we have a standing offer, but stay out of this space. Don't touch this time slot. Don't touch don't go 11 on 11, period, for any reason.
Or we will kill you.
Yeah, but I mean, I think they can do that. I think
Yeah.
they're in a situation where they could literally just go fund 3 or 4 other fan-controlled. They could buy fan-controlled controlling interests. They could, they have the ability to crush them, and they haven't. They could be sitting in their office right now plotting to their destruction, or they could be saying like, hey, this is really interesting. They're bringing in a completely
I think
new
they've got their
audience.
eye on it for sure.
The stoic nature of the NFL, I just don't see them being that reactive on Twitch.
Well, yeah, I just think like the NFL is made up of 32 very smart businessmen, right? Ultimately, the owners are 32 very, very, very wealthy, smart businessmen. The owner of the Panthers is David Tepper, who was a part of Microsoft. Lots of guys like this. And so I think they all understand
International high-level talent.
Yeah, and I think they all understand how innovation and business often goes. They know those stories.
So right now they're thinking about how do we get there without hurting our existing, which is the same dilemma that everybody has.
Yeah, and I think it's early enough that they're not ready to make action, but I would be surprised if Jerry Jones doesn't know about FCF. I think it's on his radar.
The other thing is there's a pressure that gets taken off. Like I said, it's binary right now. They have to say yes or no. Like, if you don't like it, don't watch it.
Right.
That's literally the response people say. I don't like it. What would you say?
Okay.
Then don't watch it.
Don't watch it.
Like, that's what the choice is. So Jerry Jones, every owner getting eventually doxxed and, eventually being canceled and all those things.
Right.
There's something beautiful about the idea of hey, you guys picked this. You can change it and it creates a fluidity to the game.
Yeah, bro, especially with signing players, right? Because players get stuck in this controversy and stuff, and then they get canceled. So the team's well, I guess we got to let them go. But if you just leave it out to the fans, it's hey, what should we do?
Does this matter to you?
Nobody can get mad about it.
Vote to make him donate to the charity of your choice or something. But yeah, man, it's crazy. So I'm going to pose a question to you that doesn't have an answer yet. And we didn't rehearse this. I just want to try to see if we can figure it out. How can something small utilize this ability? And I don't mean streaming a game. How can a t-shirt shop, Renaissance agency, a coffee brewing, a laundromat, how can something small innovate this space of Twitch? By the way, while Harley's thinking about that question, one of the things I was really shocked by, I had a friend who was streaming, Gabe, who at Apple.
Oh, yeah.
And I just couldn't help but find myself donating. So on Twitch, you give some sort of currency system, you donate
Bitcoin.
Bits. They're called bits.
Yeah,
and,
Bitcoins.
No, not Bitcoins, bits. And bits translate to a specific amount of money or whatever. And so what I was able to do, which is crazy, he's this very high-level player on, what was it called, the car game? Twisted Metal.
Oh, it was called Rocket League.
Rocket League. So he's on Rocket League. So he's playing for real, but he's got real money on the line. And I say to him, or it was Call of Duty. I'm watching him play Fortnite or Call of Duty or whatever. Fortnite.
He was killing it on Fortnite.
Fortnite. I said, if you get 3 kills with a pistol, I'll donate 100 bits,
That's
which I think
pretty
was
cool.
$10.
Yeah.
And so I could control because he didn't have a large group watching at that particular time. He had a choice. Does he just want a game and just have a fun time, or does he want to chase that 10 bits? And so you have this really cool, not just voting, but in this case, putting carrots in front of players.
Yeah.
And Ninja is your amazing, incredible, he has millions and millions of dollars. He was able to change platforms with no detriment to himself. And like some 12-year-old kid with his allowance money could get Ninja to do something for him
Which is pretty crazy.
or shout him out
Right,
or whatever. Are they doing that? Can you throw money at it yet?
No, you can only like make
I'm telling you,
decisions. But
I
think that's
loved throwing money
a
at it.
brilliant idea.
I loved throwing money at it. I was very limited. Sometimes it was $1, but it was like, it was an economic system where it was like, this guy wants to stream for a living. Every dollar helps.
Right.
And so, you could kind of play with that. Some players you would have to give no more than $100 or $1,000 to get them to do what you want them to do. But that's not who we're talking about. That anybody getting paid to do. If I had someone call in right now and say, I love your show, here's $100, even though that $100 doesn't like make or break me on this show, that action of giving money over to get something is sick.
It'd be really interesting to do something like that. I don't know how exactly you do it, but if you could do it in performance. So like I'm thinking like live acting, comedy, something along
Improv.
those lines, improv.
What about
And if you could say like, hey, if you find a way to work this into the bit, I'll do,
even a sponsorship?
I'll buy you a drink, whatever.
What about a
Like,
sponsorship?
What do you mean?
In the natural flow of this improv show that's online, fan control improv, you have to shout out Vance Refrigeration somehow.
Yeah.
Naturally.
I think that stuff would be really interesting. That'd be a lot of fun.
And then everyone else votes if it was all the challenges that are on there.
Yeah.
I freaking love that. All the challenges, the fans vote. When they hit it, it dings, and you vote like, was that a legit?
Did it work?
Did it work? And they hit yes.
Yeah.
And then their eyes are on Vance Refrigeration.
That'd be pretty cool, man.
That's so
it's all like high
sick.
stakes, and it'd be fun.
Yeah, there's something about money changing hands, and I think changing the currency is really important, just like tokens at an arcade. Yeah, everybody knows it's a bad deal, but when you're supporting something you love, I mean, telethons are terrible. The calls, the public radio, the support, and all those telethons are the worst.
When was the last time you watched a telethon?
Never, but I'll tell you this much.
You should
If I
do
could-
one.
Yeah, but that would be fun.
You should do a Renaissance Radio telethon.
I would love that. Thank you. That's so good. I would love that. Here's the thing. I've got the clothes for it, but here's the deal. I'd watch a telethon if I could control it. And when I threw the money at the charity,
Bro.
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Singing Bob Barker or whatever's up there, and I'm just like, here's $100 if you do a handstand successfully.
Let's go, dude.
Bro, dance monkey.
That's right.
So I think that's an unexplored space. I just remember emotionally really enjoying feeling like that's a weird difference to play through the player.
That's when, because I would watch Twitch and I was like, this sucks. But that involvement changes it significantly. Because now you're like eager. Is he going to do it? What's going to happen? You know what I mean?
You could have 25 players on there saying they'd give $1,000, 1,000 bits, which is $100 if this player gets a win. So now you have $2,500 on the line for a win.
High stakes, bro.
But it's not to the people watching.
Right.
So
But you see him sweating.
and we're not gambling because we're not giving anything if we lose.
Right.
So like it's not gambling because I'm not betting that he'll win $100. I'm saying I'm only giving it up if you win.
We can do side bets, though.
But the other thing, is you're watching this game and now you have something in it. Now you're invested, right?
Right.
And so I wonder how would you do fan control football that way?
Well,
How would you have money going? Would it be side events? Here, let me just throw something out there. The water boy's involved, the trainer's involved. You can like sabotage the other team by giving money and they have to drink a little bit of ketchup, whatever.
yeah, I mean,
You could booby trap.
You could take it as crazy as, like punishments and booby traps, which would be a lot of fun.
Players got to play without his
I
shoes.
think
If they raise a certain amount, that player's got to play without his shoes.
I think like the simplest option is a bonus structure. If a certain wide receiver,
But that's betting.
whatever. Well,
It's just gambling.
It's not gambling because
It's
there's
what I said earlier, where it's like
Right.
you only pay if they do it.
Yeah, so that's the difference. Because
So
gambling,
the players are looking up at the screen, going, "Oh my gosh!
right? I got to ball out right now.
If I make this 2-point conversion,
yeah.
there's $25,000 on the
And
line.
meanwhile, like the opposing defender's like, yo,
I need to stop
I just
here.
saw if I get a sack and I do.
Because the other team's trying to. This is what's crazy. The other team's trying to motivate the defender more than you motivate the receiver.
That'd be pretty fun.
Dude,
Right.
that's sick.
Yeah.
That's so fun. I get my heart rate up just thinking about it. Man, that's so fun. I think, okay, so back to my original question. I don't know if you had time to process it. How does a bakery get on Twitch and make money? Let's noodle that for a second.
Man,
'Cause I've got a friend who's opened a bakery. I really enjoyed it. Hoping to be Yelp Elite when I get that review out. But how does she, during her downtime in retail or service industry, How do those people supplement their business through Twitch with everyday tasks?
This is stupid, but it's the
That's where
first
we
thing
got
that
to
came
start.
to my head.
That's where we got to start. We got nothing so far.
With a bakery, I go to like eating competitions.
Straight up. Or like prank shows, like pranking their guests. Like you walk up to
Something
them
like
and
that,
you say,
bro.
"Here's your ketchup cupcake. I'm going to ketchup kick." Eating competitions, whatever. What is a way that to stay professional, however, and not sacrifice the brand of your business?
You don't like the idea of the owner of a bakery shoving handfuls of cake in their mouth on Twitch?
No. I think whenever you pay someone to do something online, your brain automatically goes to the degrading places. But I don't know.
Some dude's like,
Stop saying sure.
some dude's telling his friends like, yeah, man, I was just on Twitch the other day and I paid this lady $25 to see if she'd eat a whole cake, and she did.
That part of the internet already exists, and that's not what we're talking about. So let's be clear. I don't want my local businesses to gain 250 pounds to supplement their business on Twitch because they're stuffing peanut butter cupcakes at a rate that's dangerous down their
Best idea I got.
gullet.
Bro.
Okay, so I guess we've got no ideas. So yeah, I think how do you gamify a place? So the key components of streaming and gamifying, and then we'll end there, is that the game itself is interesting. You're invested in the game.
Yep.
Additionally, you feel like you have control of the choices. So instead of a controller and an avatar, you've got a real person and a decision.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the mechanics of what we're talking about that FCF has kind of stumbled or brilliantly gone to. So if we're talking about instead of a controller, we have a decision, and instead of how do we do that?
You know, like performance art was an easy one. Like that seems to fit well
Yeah.
because it's a performance is, you know, as a game is a performance, you know, when you're watching
Yeah.
them. So it follows that same theme.
Wasn't there a movie with Kristen Stewart about that was kind of like, I didn't see the movie, I just saw the trailer.
I thought you were a big fan of hers.
No, I just like Twilight.
Oh, okay.
No, not particularly Kristen Stewart. I just thought Twilight was better than people gave it credit for. So,
Dude, you
as
know
an
you're getting a
adult-
Twilight shirt for your birthday, right? Like
I
a
would
straight
love
up.
one. Can I make a request of it?
What's-
Can it be black? Because I only want to wear a black one, and I'd like for the 3 cast members to be on it, and I'd like the script to be really profound.
Well, it's got to have whatever team you're on. What team are you?
No. I loved the arc. I'm not a Team Edward, Team Jonathan, or whatever.
Bro, you know it's Jacob. Don't even pretend like you don't know.
I did know it was Jacob.
Nice try,
I just
dude.
like the arc of the story. But anyway, so in
You're
terms
Team
of,
Edward, I
I
can
think
tell.
I think we're done with that hypothetical. But if you're in a business, I would love to hear from you. I don't really want to hear from you. I just
How honest.
we covered that in the last episode. I would love to see or observe you using Twitch in an unconventional way that doesn't include degrading yourself for money. This is Harley's
It
original.
doesn't
pitch.
have to be degraded. Like
Maybe
I
you
mean,
can eat the cupcakes anyway. It'd be interesting.
That's what those idiots didn't know.
Yeah, like there's crazy stuff. Like ownership is a big part of that. So what if your decision instead of just immediate entertainment actually equaled ownership? Just like the rating system creates long-term equity in the program. It would be interesting in a bakery sense that people were able to watch a new recipe to be developed, to vote or purchase to whatever and purchase rights to that. And maybe possibly in some way have equity in the thing they helped create.
Yeah, what if you like turn it into a cooking TV show basically, right? So like you do similar to what you were saying, you have 4 different recipes and then you have the fans pick those
They can
recipes.
also pay their way in for advantages to their player that they want.
and then you see how well they sell and
Yeah.
then you know that would be the way
They
to
have
go.
equity.
I think is you just try to turn it into, you know, like Food Network.
Yeah, so the way to work it in if you're a baker would be your normal innovation time. You would stream on Twitch. You'd have conversations. You'd allow people to make choices for you. And you could do a cooking show where you had locals in that tried to do things. You could also gamify it in terms of payment where people who are following that person. So imagine you had 2 local high school, high level, social connection people. So the highest level at a local level that you could find in your area. And this girl has 20,000 followers and this girl has 35,000. And they publish that they're going to do an event there and a challenge against each other for the bakery. And they both have the same goods, but on Twitch, people can tune in and purchase extra ingredient options for them.
Or sabotage the other person.
Or
like Cutthroat Kitchen.
Or buy time with the chef that gives advice for them.
Ooh, yeah.
So the main baker is neutral and the Twitch users buy time.
I think that's the way you got to do it. I think if that's the goal, I think that's the avenue. I think you got it.
But then, the buying of the materials is for the game. So the profit goes to the baker.
I think you basically...
It's not actually cost. It's not going to the grocery store and spending money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So she's making money. The baker's making money.
I think if we think about it, you go, how do I put this on Twitch? My mind goes to the formula is, if this was a reality TV show, what would it look like?
That's right.
And then you go, okay, now how do I make it a reality TV show where the viewers can interact? And that's
More
a
of
much easier
reality baking show, like competition show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Because you could do that same thing with a t-shirt company. You could do that.
Survivor back in the day would have been incredible.
It would have been crazy cool if you could interact in it.
And buy your way in. Like there's tiers. Like people literally give money.
Yeah.
Just like a telethon. They go, hey, if you do this, that buys our time for the next 6 months. You're literally, people are donating millions of dollars to their player, $10 at a time, to get them a hatchet so that they can do this challenge. Dude. That's the answer.
We got it.
But it would be interesting. So from my perspective, actionable on my side, you bring that package to somebody. It's done. There's a host. There's the broadcasting material set up.
Oh, yeah.
The game is set up already. The game system is already figured out.
And then you just place it into their organization.
Yeah, so just so you know, Betty, as you have your bakery here, people are going to be buying real time. You'll get 10 minutes, and I'll explain that on air, da-da-da-da, and then you bring in famous people because they have to bring the audience because you can't develop your own audience
Yeah,
on Twitch.
absolutely.
So they bring their audience in, and you publicize it, and then that cupcake gets featured for a month, and 10% of the profits from that cupcake go to that local celebrities charity.
Right. Yeah. And then, you get crazy exposure to your bakery.
And you do that weekly or daily. At some point you could
theoretically you could do it daily.
Be at any business. You could be.
And then after that you have this talent pool and you can do like a showdown or whatever.
Yeah.
Like all
you
kinds
could do
of
one at a
reality
mechanic.
TV options.
You do it at a mechanic shop.
Right.
Where literally you've got two broken pieces that you've got to fix. And these two popular girls one's from Mount Vernon with 20,000 followers and one's from Westerville with 20,000 followers come and try to fix this thing.
Yeah.
And they get advice and tools and whatever. And that's the kind of thing, that's what I was talking about earlier in episode 20 was the Jones Soda sponsorship and different things like that. It's amazing how if you have the vision, you can just explain it. Like somebody's going to give one of those girls a car for winning.
Mm-hmm.
If they're on every single episode and they're always talked about. And like, there's so many cool things there. But I just love that mechanic. I think Twitch is underutilized. I think we're down on Twitch right now.
I think you're right. Yeah, Amazon owns Twitch.
Okay, then they're a good bet.
Yeah.
Amazon owns the world.
Yeah, good bet.
Isn't it weird how there's such a small percentage of retail sales, and we just know it's inevitable that they own everything?
I thought they were a large percentage. They're small.
They were like well below Walmart. Last year I checked, they were like barely double-digit percentage compared to Walmart.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yet, like, I thought it was like half of everything purchased online comes from Amazon.
Well, online, but Walmart owns entire rural populations of everything.
They don't have the internet out there yet.
Well, I mean, some places, but like I said,
I don't have the internet at my house right
Michael
now.
Hawk, has CopperNet still doing dial-up.
Let's go, dude.
In out in Danville region.
Go for somebody.
He's also a part owner in RevLocal, which is this incredibly huge company as well.
I think I've heard of them.
Yeah. All right, dude. Well, that's really cool. I really like that, man. I like that. A couple things stood out to me. Let's go back and forth. A couple things that stand out and we'll end the show. What's something that stood out to you as far as Disrupitated on the...
You gotta find a way. Well, not gotta, but if you can find a way to gamify your business, you can probably get a super loyal following and a really interested following in what you do.
Formula tends to be the content itself is interesting by itself, period. You would watch it. You're going over the top by allowing people to participate. And you are basically doing in-app purchases inside of the game, inside of the stream.
Will attract a younger audience.
That's right, a younger audience where you get up in the morning and, I mean, dude, it could be as simple as homework.
Right.
Could you imagine like a kid studying for math and people could buy in tutor time for him?
That sounds kind of boring, though.
I don't know. There's a space there.
I don't know about that one, bro.
I'm just
You want to
saying.
watch somebody do math?
Well, you should watch somebody do math.
I was gonna make that same joke. I'm
Yeah.
glad you did it.
Don't do math, everybody. Math is fun. Thanks for listening. This has been Renaissance Radio. We'll talk to you soon.